everybody, welcome back to Code 4 Plays, and today we're here in Frostpunk 2. Now this game has released literally very recently, just the other day. Now if you don't have the deluxe edition, you can't actually access this yet, but luckily I do, so I'm going to be showcasing it to everyone watching. And we are going to be running through every single chapter of Frostpunk 2, starting with the prologue and working our way up to Chapter 5. This game comes in 6 parts, starting with a little bit of a user tutorial, just to get you, give you a bit of a hang of the game, just get used to some of the basic controls, get used to some of the mechanics, and then working your way up all through so that you can eventually do your own playthrough of this on a much harder difficulty. Now this is where the difficulty settings really start here. We are going to be playing today on the Citizen difficulty, which is the easiest one because like that pop-up message just said, this is what is recommended. This game is incredibly hard. If you've played the original Frostpunk, it is definitely not for people who just want to throw 20 minutes into it at a little bit at a time. This game takes dedication, it takes a lot of skill, and we will not be playing on Captain, Officer, or any of the other settings until we have the first one down pat. So we'll complete the first playthrough of this. We'll be doing a series going through each chapter, starting on the easiest difficulty, Citizen difficulty, alright? Then working our way up to Officer, Steward, and then Captain. Yes! But no, we'll start with this one. I like that. It's going to be good. Now, we are treated to a bit of a cutscene in a moment, I believe, and then we will be jumping straight into the gameplay. So we'll wait for this to load for a second. Look at this, we've got our group. So from what I interpret this, we're in charge of a small group of people. But I'm not going to talk in a second because we are... Here we go.
Can you hear us? Captain! Do you hear us?
That's us.
A generation ago, we fled the crumbling British Empire as the world surround us.
Damn. Just chilling.
I held New London together.
We can hear footsteps.
United,
Someone's coming.
we survived 30 years of whiteouts.
That's a long time.
But the world around us is dead. Empty.
Oh, here he comes. Ooh, look at those gloves. Damn. Big city. That's the oil. That's going to be our new resource.
Merely surviving is not enough. We have to expand.
What the heck is that? Got some like airship. That's insane.
To survive the end of the world.
The captain doesn't look so good. Doesn't look too good now. Now what? Well, captain's gone. Oh yeah, he's dead. Oh, bro's cooked. Or not cooked, he's frozen. Damn. That's a rough one, man. Ooh. Waiting for our little... There we go. Look at that. Oh, awesome. Okay, so basically, from my interpretation of this, we are going to be playing as the Wanderers faction group. So these people kind of wander the Frostland. They pick up people as they go along. They are very, the survivalist type of people, very resourceful. And we're going to be playing as them for this little part at the start until we get into the first chapter. So if you're welcome to read that, we must survive. Our objective is to keep our little group of people alive. I believe it is until the first whiteout. So for those of anyone watching who isn't familiar with Frostpunk or Frostpunk 2 or the Frostpunk games in general, basically it's a bit of a city builder survival game where we want to keep our people alive through heating them, making sure they have warmth when the colder months come. Look at the visuals and the graphics. That's incredible. Got a lorry or like one of those massive dreadnought haulers with some... Looks like we've got a crossing there. Prologue, the Wanderers. Awesome. Anyway, so it is a city builder survival game. We will restart the furnace. Okay, so we need to fight the cold. We need to turn on the furnace. Right, we need heat. It's negative like 2,000 degrees outside. Our guys are freezing down there. We need to give them some heat. We need to get them pumping. We need to shoot them up with some coffee, bit of other stuff as well, bit of alcohol, as they say. I know that's a law you can pass later on, but we are good to go. We've got 88 weeks to get our food stockpiled, get that nice engine on, keep our people warmed up, toasty and warm. So let's get to it. Currently the generator is not, or furnace isn't even on. We need to find some coal, but I believe we are going to be using oil. So obviously, if you are familiar with the first Frostpunk, the fuel that powers the generator, there's only one. We're going to be seeing a lot more generators than one. In this game, we are going to be collecting oil, and that is our first objective here, is to build a extraction zone on one of these oil hub areas. But first, we're actually going to need to frost break the ground. So what that means, we are sending in big machinery and people to clear the way of any rubble, any frost, or the frozen earth, so we can make way for flat, buildable ground. Not necessarily flat, but buildable ground that's not covered by impassable terrain. So we'll get on that. We'll speed up time a little bit. We've got week 1, day 4. That goes a lot quicker. That is one of the biggest differences between Frostpunk 2 and Frostpunk 1. Obviously, in Frostpunk 1, you are looking at units of time in minutes, hours, and days. This, you are looking in weeks, days, months, and years. Years being the biggest measurement of time. Considering the first one, the biggest year of time, you'd pretty much have weeks go by, and that was like considered the kind of the biggest thing. You'd probably last just under a year. I know if you played endless mode, you could kind of get up to that, but still, this mode, this game, deals in much bigger time quantities. So we're going to be looking at a much broader area with things kind of almost being a bit like supercharged. So you will see the people running around at lightning speeds, little bolts of lights, and that's something that we didn't really see in the first game. So let's get cracking. We need to build we're going to do some more frost breaking just so we can clear up some of these resources. We've got prefabs here, which is another building material. We've got scraps, which can be acquired. And all of those are going to be going towards building. And we've got down the bottom, you'll see that little yellow bar, and that is our trust. Now, if that goes to 0, we get thrown down that chasm there, or worse, exiled, annihilated. Basically, we lose the game. If our people die of hypothermia, we lose the game. If our people starve, we lose the game. If we get invaded or murdered, I don't even know, we lose the game. There's a bunch of different ways we can lose the game. And how's this? This is a game where we're in the tutorial phase and we can still die. We can still die. So this is going to be very interesting. But again, we're just going to start by frost breaking. So clearing up some of this ground so we can get to these resources. We're going to need food. We're going to need a ridiculous amount of food, because we're going to need to stockpile that in a short while to prepare for the whiteout. I know we have 85 weeks, but that flies by, especially when we are doing a bunch of stuff. So we've got a little bit of a chasm below. Now if we build stuff down there, we are actually going to get it's going to take less heat because it is sheltered from the wind, and that's the biggest killer in this game. You've got that icy cold wind. We've got our scraps there. We're making 22 a week, so obviously this comes in and we can use that to build and frost break. Now we can run emergency shifts. We're not going to do anything like that at the moment. We've got our wanderers here. We can tighten their belts so they consume less food. We can take scraps from them, which is kind of neat if we need to, we need some of that. Or we can return scraps. So we can pay them to increase trust. Now again, if that trust goes to 0, we're buggered, we're cooked. As the thick black liquid oozes through the pipes, our people rejoice. Love to see it! Select the Dreadnought Wreck to access the furnace control. Roger that. We're going to get that furnace up and running like it's never burned before. We are going to have this thing cranking all the way up. We're going to be melting the snow in the distant mountains. That's how powerful we're going to have this thing going. Nuclear. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to turn it on first. Let's start there. We'll start there. Generator on. There we go. We've got overdrive. So overdrive allows us to just crank that heat up even more. So once we go through our whiteout area, we might actually turn that on so we can increase our heat production. We've got to get some basic infrastructure up and running. Absolutely. Right, so we need to do construction wagon, build an extraction. Okay, so we need prefabs. So basically prefabs is what's going to let us build districts. To build districts, it is going to cost 150 workforce, a bit of prefabs, and a little bit of scraps. Let's get so I think this one has 400 prefabs in that deposit there that we're going to mine. We're going to get that going. That's going to be done in a second. We're going to have to build a housing district because no one has anywhere to live at the moment. And if you actually build those housing districts closer to our generator, or in this case furnace, we are actually going to get a plus 20 heat bonus to that, which is awesome. So it not only is it going to use less heat, it's actually going to give them, it's going to be much warmer for them, which is awesome. So like in the base game, or not base game, in the original Frostpunk, those buildings of yours that were closer to the generator and in range of the generator, which is a massive heat source, you could rely less on insulation. You could have tents there when the rest of your other houses are full-blown, like bunk houses and board houses, but those ones could be tents because obviously the generator provides a lot more heat closer to it compared to those ones that might be further away. So as you'll notice here, our extraction district actually uses a lot more heat. It has a much higher heat demand because it's actually further away, and it's in the middle of the look where we are. We're on the middle of a mountain or something, which is absolutely sick as well. So we've got our dreadnought wreck here, generators on, that's burning. We've got our people heated and warmed. Cool, cool, cool. Build 2 housing districts. Well, they're both under construction. We'll get our second one going here because we are still minus 15 housing. We'll build it down there. Rest there. There we go. That's love to see it. All right, let's crank that. We've got 75 weeks. We are going along very nicely, very nicely, if I do have to say so myself. We're progressing, checking off all our boxes and our objectives, which is cool. Deadly cold. Due to the cold, some of our people have died. Bummer. We just got their housing up and running, so we're actually going to have some free housing spaces probably now. Build a food district on fertile soil. Alright, so we have frost broken to fertile soil already. That's what I was doing earlier, kind of preempting this. We need to build some, so this is our, what would you call it, massive just farming areas, because obviously it's the middle of nowhere, you know, it's all frozen, but we do have little specks of fertile land where there's either like hot springs or the ground still, it's not completely frozen over, so we can utilize that. We can grow some potatoes as Mr. Mark Watney would be doing. Unfortunately, this isn't Mars. It's Earth, it's just frozen, so same thing, close enough to Mars. We'll get those potatoes up and running and we'll get our people fed, because obviously we do have 71 weeks, which is a long time if you think about it. Not a long time in game, a long time in real life. You could grow a ridiculous amount of potatoes, because you've got, 52 weeks in a year. Is that right? I hope my math is mathing. 52 weeks in a year, that sounds about right. 365 days in a year, 52 weeks. Yeah, I think that adds up. Something like that. Either way, so we've got just over a year to prepare for the whiteout, which makes sense because these guys kind of travel the wasteland, wander the frostland as long as they can, and then just before a whiteout occurs, so in this case it was I think 80 weeks, so about a year and a bit, they are returning back to their generator site to keep them warm during those much colder months. So we're already in negative 20 degrees. We're going to drop to negative 40 before the whiteout actually hits. And if you look to the top right corner of the screen, it'll say negative 20. We'll have that first temperature drop, which goes down negative 10 degrees, and then we will be going down another negative 10, if you can just see on the future forecast, before we do hit the whiteout, which will drop us into probably, what is that? So it'll be negative 40. We're probably looking at negative 80 or even colder, which is just insane if you think about it. Because I mean, imagine negative 80 temperatures in real life. Obviously, this is a game. It's not real, but negative 80 degrees, and that's certainly a lot more in Fahrenheit. In terms of it's not 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know the conversion rate there, but if you're Aussie, like me, we just go by degrees Celsius, which just makes more sense. You know, if it's 10 degrees, that's freezing for us. Actually, not really, because Melbourne weather's just ridiculously around. Just strange weather, guys. We'll have hail, then we'll have a rainbow, then it'll be like lightning storms, and then it'll just be like the nicest sun you've ever experienced. It's strange. Anyway, let's get some more extraction districts up and running. We need to be harvesting as much resources as we can. We are on the clock here, and that is ticking as long as we have the game running. I have paused it a couple of times to kind of slow that down, just recalibrate, get everything up and running again. But it's certainly something we do need to be mindful of, that 66-week deadline, because we've got a challenge to stockpile 40,000 food. So on top of feeding our entire population of, what are we, about 3,000 people of all wanderers, we are, 3,000 people's a lot. It's kind of a lot. That's like an entire school. It's kind of an entire school. That's a lot of people. Okay, so we've got to stockpile 40,000 food, which means we've got to feed our people at the same time while stockpiling that. Now our stockpiles don't even hold 40,000 food. We hold 20,000 food, so we're gonna have to build some upgrades to them. But we'll get to that in good time. All in good time. We've first got to get some more frost breaking. I want to uncover all the deposits as quickly as possible so we can throw down as many extraction areas on as we can. We've got a Fian Kel, 42 gardener, pouring sand in his hands. He's pulling a gladiator there. We might not be... Okay, so we've got some issues with the fertility of the ground. We're not going to be growing crops as efficiently as we want, and the quickest way to fix that is to chuck on some emergency shifts. Let's get those guys working 24 hours a day. I don't care what the side effects are. We've obviously lost trust. We're probably going to enable that on our other ones. But for the meantime, we'll just leave that one on. We can't actually build another food production area. We've got to wait for our scraps to go up a bit more. We have the prefabs, which we are harvesting, but the scraps are coming in a little bit slower. So that is once a week. I think we were getting 12. Oop. Knock the microphone there. 12, which is nowhere near enough. So we'll get that fixed, and then we'll probably be able to build another food extraction area. We'll unpause. There we go. We've got another pop-up message. So let's check this. What have we got? Into the black. Burying the dead. Alright. We mourn those who have passed recently. Okay. Trust and relations fall every time people die. I mean, that makes sense. If there's like 10 million people that die under you in real life, you're probably not going to want to vote or stick around. So... But I'm not sure that's going to be a problem. We've got about approximately 3,000 people rounding up. I'm not too concerned about having everyone die off. Now we are actually running a bit behind in terms of the heat. We've got a higher demand than we have a supply, so we need to get another extraction point going on. I did actually leave that point there blank, so we didn't. So once this did happen, we could actually just get it thrown down quickly. Now I'm probably going to frost break because we do have one more. We have one more oil site, but first we should probably build that last food supply station, because again we do need 40,000 food, and we're nowhere near there. We're not even. We've first got to fill the stockpile, which I think we've done. So we are stockpiling now. We're at nearly 3,000 with 54 weeks to go. So we need to speed that up. Mysterious symbol, the captain's legacy. One of your frostbreaking crews uncovered the frozen remains of a man stuck in a tattered uniform. What does it symbolize? It symbolizes, okay, order, absolutely. So it's from New London. So that's a city we're going to be controlling later on and given control over as the steward. It symbolizes faith. Absolutely not. It symbolizes order. We got those military boys over there who have come across. They are ready for combat. They've perished in a fiery battle of honor. They've gone down fighting like absolute legends, and geez, hopefully something like that is going to be a fate that we can discover later on. But I'm not sure what the rest of the campaign holds, because obviously this is the story. The game's only been out for, I think it's still less than a day now, or maybe just a bit over a day. So the fact that we've got 3 DLCs for this, none of which have been, or technically one's out, but I'm not counting that as a DLC. I think that it'd be interesting to see if the devs are, because it's literally just a skin for the council building, which is just ridiculous. Not worth it in terms of a DLC. But we are, for those deluxe users, so anyone watching who does have the deluxe edition, which you can get on Steam, I think it's still on sale, it should be, you are going to have access to it before the 20th, so it does officially release on the 20th. It released the 18th for me at 3 AM in the morning, which is awesome, so obviously I can play it now. Now we do have... Okay, let's get that last extraction depot going there. There's one last fuel reserve which we can tap into, and that's at the bottom of this gorge here. So I think we'll tap into that in a second. We've also just frostbroken the last food deposit, which is... We've got a message for it. Alrighty. Let's click onto this. Shocked at the sight of seals. Seals! Right! Well, that's cool. A little bit of humanity there for all our people who have never seen that kind of thing before. A bit of flesh and blood. Something else that's survived out there in the harsh weather conditions. Obviously, the fish is still... I'm guessing the fish is still out there. Or frozen under all the water. Because obviously, the water can only freeze to a certain depth. Now, we are going to build a mega extraction area down here. Let's get that frost broken. I think we can build a food district on the seals so we can actually start harvesting them for some seal meat. Yum. Or is it seal blubber? Either way, bit of food for our boys who are having it tough out there. They got to tighten their belts. Like they're living rough, guys. They've gone like 3 years without food and just living in the middle of nowhere, which is pretty cool. Oh, we've got another message. Food deposits. Alright, so we need to build hubs, which is basically an extension to our stockpiles, which we can build onto any existing food area. And not only does it reduce the workforce by, I think it's 10%. I think that was 10%. It is going to allow us to increase our stockpile. Now, our stockpile needs to be increased to 40,000. It's not currently at 40,000. We're going to have to build one more. And when that's done, colder season heat demand has increased. Alright, so that's, guys, this is what I was talking about. We've got our first temperature drop before the second temperature drop, and then we'll have like a bit of probably a week, and then the whiteout will come and just knock us out and see what we're made of. So we are stockpiling at a reasonable rate. It's not fast enough. We've got 35 weeks left. I'm not happy with that. So kind of under a year now. We've got 14,000, I guess that would be kilograms, hey, of food. The whiteout draws near. Slaughter the seals. Let our elders go. What? Absolutely not. We're not letting anyone go. Situation's under control, everyone. We might have to enact some emergency 24-hour shifts, but send the kids to the mines, but we will not be having our elders perish or harvesting those seals. They are there for, what would you call it, recreational purposes, to look at them and remind us of the good old days. We're not going to touch those seals. If anyone even goes close to them, we're going to have our guards. Not that we have any guards in this part of the game. We're going to have our Secret Service guys go over there and shut all that down. Our secret police and undercover agents. 15,000 stockpiled, 16,000. It's going up. 31 weeks to go. See, this is what I mean. When the time's all the way up, those weeks just tick away pretty quickly. I'd say it's about, you're going to 1 week every 2 seconds or about that, if it's on max speed. Otherwise, you can go in days or even less than that, a bit slower. We're going to build one more hub. I think that should chuck us just over the limit because we are filling up on our storage deposits in terms of food. We've way past the point of stockpiling. Everyone's fed and we are building up massive stores of food. There we go. Alright, so it's taking us 17 weeks to fully fill the stockpile, which is absolutely amazing. So we are actually going to be ahead of the deadline by the time we do finish, so we probably won't need to build that food district on the seals. So not totally massacring them, but we can actually harvest them sustainably where their numbers will regrow. But I don't think we're even going to have to touch the seals. This is finished this deposit. We'll wrap that up, get that demolished. Awesome. We can build another food district. Oh, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, guys. I'm not sure. I don't think we'll need to. We can always enact the emergency shifts. Oh, it's run out! The deposit's empty! Oh, no! Oh, that's terrible. Oh, crap. Okay, so that means basically we're going to... Okay, so it's taking us, what is it? 2 weeks. We've got 2 weeks to fill the stockpile. Okay. But we're going to have to turn this... Alright, okay, we're going to need... Righty. We need to enact some emergency shifts. We've got to get this stuff cleaned up. Alright, we're going to do that as well. I don't care how low a trust it gets us. We're producing 93 a day. Please be enough. Yes! We've just ticked over. Alright, with 3 weeks to go, we've secured food. I don't think we need to build anything else. All of the other tasks are optional. We just need to wait. I'm actually going to return some scraps. So I'm going to pay them with some extra scraps that we have just to get our trust up because we are prepared for the whiteout. We have successfully secured reliable food stockpiles. We're good to go. Alright, it's about to drop in temperature. We're going to hit negative 40 degrees. Oh, the whiteout is here. Okay, so it's only going to be negative 90. Far out. Okay, we're in low temperatures here. This is cold, guys. Not as cold as the Great Storm. I think that reached, what was it, negative 120, negative 140, depending on the difficulty. Hey, we made it. I hope so. Hang on. Did I celebrate too early? Hang on. Hey, against all odds. The Wanderers survived. I love that. That is awesome. We survived. Good work, team. Our entire colony survived. We had our little furnace generator keeping us going. We had that fueled up with oil. Had our food stockpile. Didn't harvest the seals. Didn't harvest our elders. As terrible as that sounds to say, I can't believe you can do that. That's been awesome. And if you've enjoyed the video so far, be sure to show your support down below. Smash that subscribe button. Give this video a comment. Let me know what you think. Give it a thumbs up. And we survived the end of the world. So that is the prologue complete for Frostpunk 2. We're going to obviously finish the series. So our next one is going to be Chapter 1. We're going to be building our city up. We've taken over the city of New London. But obviously I'm not going to spoil that. If you want to watch the next one, that'll be coming out over the next couple of days. So we'll jump into that and we'll finish all 6 chapters. So it's going to be awesome playing through it with everyone watching, with you guys. So until next time, everyone. Goodbye!